Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. We are back with Singles, Episode 6, Daybreakers, and with me I've got the beautiful, the awesome, and the outrageously outspoken Jade Shadow. How you doing?
So I am doing well. I'm a bit tired, but I rewatched this movie today, so it was very fresh in my mind. And like I said, while it's not, it's not objectively great. It's a good movie. I did appreciate it for the interesting take it had on vampirism, pretty much.
Yeah.
It basically treated it like a plague of sorts, versus the normal lore surrounding vampires.
Alrighty. And before I get to the chat, let everybody know where you are or can be found.
Well, I can be found. This is my main channel under Jade Shadow. Took a semi-break from making videos this week, and partly it was due to the fact that there was really nothing I wanted to talk about because I haven't watched the One Piece Netflix series. I don't care about what's happening in Star Wars. I couldn't give two shits about that, and so forth, pretty much. So I just took advantage of just relaxing during the day. So pretty much where you would find me is either on my Kick at Jade Shadow, where I do gaming streams. Tuesday I played the first 4 chapters or so of the campaign from Mortal Kombat 1.
Nice.
I'm suffering through that story. It's not good. And then I might be live. I'll try to be live on Twitch maybe Saturday afternoon, depending on my schedule, since I wasn't able to do it this afternoon. And tomorrow I'm planning on possibly seeing Expendables 4 in the afternoon, so that way I have my evening free. So instead of doing my gaming stream in the afternoon, I'm doing it in the evening. Going back to Mortal Kombat 1. So, yeah.
All right. As for me, folks, you know where you can all find me. I have my links I don't think I have them all in the description of this, but in my regular videos, I have the links to all my socials. You can find me on Twitter. Mine's Rumble. Sometimes I'm mirroring my stuff over to Rumble, and on X and whatnot. Tonight is Singles. Sunday is finishing out the MCU Sundays, and then it will turn into the Book of Wick Sundays next month. And Tuesday theme stream, I have the Son of Batman from the DCAU. And Tuesday theme streams for October will be Military versus Aliens. And considering there's 5 Tuesdays that month, I will have 5 movies. A lot of them, a couple of them might have skirted under the radar, but definitely going to be discussing them all because I do like Military versus Aliens. It's an interesting take. So, and we will be doing singles next month. Will be Bram Stoker's Dracula and Silver Bullet.
Yes. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, I keep forgetting to talk about it. I do want to time the 1s and 2s for closer to the end of the month because the 1s and 2s will be the Halloween movies. So it's kind of fitting that they be closer to the end of the month versus the middle when we normally do them.
All right. So we will fit those towards the end, or the singles to the ends of the month as well, folks. Because we fit them day apart.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting into the chat. Let's say hello to the chat. Vanya, good to see you. One of the loyals. Trey Courtney, awesome to see you, buddy. Really enjoyed this movie. Interesting take on vampires. Gravy D, he's going to be lurking, but have a good one. And thank you for the super sticker, which is very appreciated. I cannot see it on my end, but I still do thank you. We got the awesome Assassin of Souls. Wait, already, there we go. The chat just did something weird. And, yep, put a stake through that like button, folks, because we're slaying vampires. So, this movie, we're putting it up here for you, not to watch, but to cover talking points. Now,
Yeah.
when this movie is done by two brothers. How many freaking brother director or couples are there for directors, man? I mean, we got the Wachowskis. Well, now they're just
Now they're sisters.
Yeah, the Wachowski sisters, but they used to be brothers.
Coens.
Yeah. You also have the ones from AVPR. Can't remember their names, but they were just hardcore nerds and with bad lighting situations. But and we got the Spielberg brothers who directed this. And don't you dare freaking shut off on me. There we go. And one thing I did not know was that this girl here is patient zero of this movie. She was the one that got bit, turned into a vampire, or got bit by the bat, turned into a vampire, and started turning people.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's trivia from outside of the movie. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why didn't they really point that out, you know? That's one kind of, I think you'd think that would be something that would be interesting to know, unless you did your research. But
it'd be interesting to know, but it really, I mean, I don't see it necessarily impacting anyone's enjoyment of the movie. So it's like one of those things where it's like, it's nice to know, but wasn't exactly necessary. However, what I did appreciate about this scene was that it's tied to the note she was writing, which is essentially a suicide note.
Yeah.
Because she's sitting waiting for the sun to come up, and like in the notes, like she's never going to get older. She's stuck as a child.
Yeah.
And it's now just like eating away at her emotionally.
Yep, it's 10 years after the outbreak. So she would be like 20 or something, but yet she doesn't age. Also, thank you to Trey in the chat. I do not own the rights to this movie. However, I did buy the movie. This is a legal purchase. So all rights go to Lionsgate. This is also in the description of the video. I am simply showing certain scenes or certain stills and whatnot of the movie. I do not own them. All rights go to Lionsgate. Fair use. We are discussing our appreciation for the movie, so please don't frickin' do anything to us, Lionsgate. I mean, I know you guys are sticklers, but we're actually promoting your film. So, yeah. Now, that out of the way, I do the one thing that this movie does have a problem with is the burning effects and the sun effects. Other than that, this movie actually is very good with not digital, but practical effects. This is where this movie did shine.
Yeah.
So, yes, this girl, I turned this scene into a good morning, into a summer kind of good morning gif, because it's like, or it shows her burning up and the sun coming out on a hot day, and it's like, good morning, and there you go, she's just burning. So then we get the opening credits that show school zones between 2 and 3 a.m., daytime fill-up stations, and electric car batteries. It's the 10-year anniversary of the outbreak and how a single bat started it all. Yeah. We also see news reports of a German blood substitute failing, and the city is basically dead during the day because, well, vampires don't come out in daylight. Mm-hmm. And then we see this nice little text at the bottom. Humans were given a chance to assimilate, but they refused. And then we realize it's a talking point in a news interview with a senator. And therefore, they are enemies of the state and will be captured and farmed for blood supply. And we see this red-eyed vampire old man just watching this, which is, it's like, huh, everybody else has gold eyes. These guys have red eyes. This isn't going to be Twilight, is it?
So, no, I mean, I did appreciate it. Like, you know, like, I like how, like, you know, it's like there's an explanation given without exactly, full-on exposition.
Yeah, because this is a vampire that is starving. He needs blood. He's one of those homeless-looking vamps, and you could tell, or you see a shot of his hand. Let me actually just go over there to try to get there. Let's see here. And pause. Well, pause. Yeah, this one right here. And how he swipes at him. Oh, come on, pause, you stupid thing. And then if vampires act out, like that one did. Oh, it's hard to pause with this thing.
I think it's like hard to pause in general because I'll have like my mouse over the exact timestamp I want to look at, and it's like either a few seconds behind or a few seconds ahead. I'm like, I can see the timestamp where my arrow is, but yet for some reason it doesn't want to be on that actual.
Yeah. So yes, they start tasing him. You could see how he has longer fingers here, which is interesting. So it's like these guys come in if they see what are known as subsiders. And then we get, we'll just skip forward. God dang it. Pause instead of, or stay paused, you dummy. This is on Voodoo, folks, so sorry. It's not on YouTube where it would stay paused. Let's see here. Nice little smart, or one of those little, I swear to God, you fart in one of those cars, it blows up. That one in front of this one.
Something smart about that car. I don't know why they became popular.
Now, one of the things that is interesting about this is an outbreak. However, they do have the mystical, or they do have the slight mysticism in this where they cast no reflection, which is an interesting thing. Exposition or 30-minute long backstory, right? And yes, here is a Daybreakers Vampires Explained. Follow me on Twitter, and follow Mara on Twitter, or X as they call it. I'm not calling it X.
Yeah.
I just assumed she offed herself because, I mean, that's what a lot of people get, but it actually does turn out that she is patient zero. So, let's see here. We see the introduction to Ethan Hawke. And I got to say that this was actually a nice shot here. You see the kids are all, these are all 20-year-olds, but they're kids. And you see this one smoking here. Don't smoke, kids, in real life. PSA, there you go. And we see blood shortages that are crippling the third world. It's like, well, this is one way to control the population. But
unfortunately, it's impacting
everybody.
It's literally like vampires are becoming the majority, pretty much.
Yeah.
And
they're the dominant species.
They're the dominant species, and they feed on blood. And it's like maybe you shouldn't have pushed people to assimilate,
right?
And like dwindle your food supply.
Let's see here.
I mean, it's like not ideal to be thought of as like food supply, but at the same time, it's like you're treating them like enemies of the state, like they're like sign capture humans.
Yeah.
You're treating them like enemies of the state, and like, but at the same time, it's like you kind of put yourselves in that position.
Still serving 20% blood.
Yeah.
And people are getting their drinks. Let's see here. Capture humans. Yeah. Uncle Sam is now a vampire.
Yeah.
And I like this shot here.
Yeah.
Where the lights go out, and yet you could see all of the, you could see their glowing eyes, which is nice. It shows that there is a little bit of mysticism there, too. And we then see, right after this, let's go to, there we go, and people talking on cell phones. I mean, it's daily life, except that everybody's a vampire, you know?
Yeah.
You know, let's see here. I want to see this one shot. There we go. Join the U.S. Vampire, or join us now, Vampire Army. Make a difference today. And we also see subsiders attacking each other in the underneath the platforms. So you know that there is a greater, different vampire breed, which is a nice setup. Now 619, I believe that is 619. No, that's 635. Oh, I already showed 619. But yeah. So we also see that there are scanners to prove you're a vamp in the next scene here. Let's see here. Because Edward's going into work. And those are the scanners that prove that you're a human. Bromley Marks is the business that he works at.
Yes, he's as a hematologist. So
Yep.
he's essentially in charge, at least in this city, of trying to find a blood substitute.
Yeah. Oh, this movie was done in 2008, but it takes place in 2019, 4 years ago. So yeah, I mean that was pretty cool. It's like, wonder what's going to be around in 2019, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, back in freaking 1990, they had a movie with Rutger Hauer, Split Second, where it took place in 2008. And the world was freaking flooded by climate change and all sorts of bullshit.
Oh, God.
It was a fun movie.
I love this. I love those types of movies. Yeah, they never happen.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, back in 2000, freaking Chris Rock said it best at the MTV Music Awards. Man, 2000 is as fun as I thought we would have flying cars, and one of the Backstreet Boys got Britney Spears pregnant. And shit like that. It's like, I was always wondering which one of them would get her pregnant and whatnot. It's like, you see one of the Backstreet Boys like, not me, man, not me. Daybreakers, virus, and subsiders explained. Yep. But yeah, 2012. Sorry. Oops.
So.
But yeah. So let's get to the next talk, which is, I believe, right. We can't exactly show, or I'm gonna pause that. These people are all being farmed, so they're all hooked up there. I can't exactly, or you see that they have a thing in their necks to siphon out. I can't show certain parts of this because they are all naked. So, yeah. I can't show everything. And then, Mara dipped out for a second. So before I go on to the next part, I will actually wait for her to get back because we get into the next talking point. So how is everybody doing in the chat? Yes, the cinematography in this movie is actually quite great. They do a great job with setup, lore, and world building for this film.
Sorry, I had to let my dog out.
Yeah, it's all right.
They're out of the room.
Yep. Yeah, not vampire nudes, human nudes, because they're all, and they make it so cold looking, like very dispassionate, because these people are literally just hanging with their asses on this like thin metal placement.
Yeah.
So that they can all be farmed. And so we then see that they are getting ready for a blood farming, doing their nice little, all this material in this meeting is classified. And they're doing experiments on death row inmates. Well, they're not, they're supposed to be a death row inmates, so they're doing blood deprivation and showing the deprivation of the first signs starts with elongated ears. Then comes loss of logic, speech, and emotions deteriorate. And they have, we learn in this scene that there's enough blood in the world to last till the end of the month. That's it. And subsiders are a problem for the vampire populace because, well, they are also going after blood sources. We learn that kids were digging up cemeteries to see if they could find human blood. Not the best idea.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And they find out subsiders are feeding on other vampires, which is essentially poison in a way, since they can't process the feeding on their own kind's blood.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that picture of that subsider there, which trying to keep this thing paused is a pain in the ass. I do apologize for this, folks. But yes, this guy is basically, they show the deprivation and the slow stages, and then he eventually looks even worse.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam Neill, the awesome Sam Neill, plays plays Bromley. Now let's see here. And he's like, what can we do? You know, what's the solution? Well, we're all talking about the extinction of the human race as well as their blood supply.
Yeah.
So we then see, before the outbreak, Sam Neill's character was diagnosed with sarcoma. I'm guessing that is a cancer. And the outbreak saved him. Yet his daughter, played by Isabel Lucas, which I've only seen her in that seriously twisted Transformers 2 movie, where she plays a Transformer herself, but weird vampire ox tongue thingy. Anyway, she saw him as a monster, and so Bromley is making the twist to Edward. We're coming up with a blood substitute so that we can repopulate the human race, you know? However, unbeknownst to Edward, he's really doing it so that the human race can repopulate, yes, but people are still going to pay for the real thing.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Basically, the greedy CEO.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Sporking, good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. And who else? Sorry, folks, it's hard to keep up with the chat. Yeah, Sam Neill is a legend. Mad Cow Disease. Sam Neill as a villain wasn't something I thought I knew. Yeah, right? Never before have I wanted something so bad and not known until I received it.
Wasn't Sam Neill in Omen 3? Like, didn't he play older Damien or something?
I haven't seen the Omen movies, to be honest, so I can't really comment on that.
I could swear he was in like the third Omen movie or one of them.
But in this movie, there is a shot where he is where he looks at the camera when they're doing another blood substitute, where he's like, why the hell am I in this movie?
Yeah.
It's because when the dude's head explodes. So in the lab, let's see if I can get that right. Well, we'll go to 1209. And they have all stable. They're ready to go to vampire trials instead of human trials, so to speak. The substitute is working, and we can go beyond animal testing. A freaking vampire chimp, folks. A vampire chimp. Yeah. Chimpanzee vampires.
Yep.
I mean, it's like, yikes. All right, so 1401, I believe, is where they're doing the next, or 1402, I guess. Will work. Let it load. Sometimes I get a buffer. But yeah, vampire chimps. And get this, they even say this, that vampire wildlife are, there we go. Vampire wildlife are the leading cause of forest fires in the world because they all burst into flames. And they actually did have a deleted or an unfinished scene, which they had digital storyboards for the car chase in this film. They were going to drive through a farm where there were vampire cows that freaking burst into flame when the place collapsed around them. Chimpula.
I'm part of me glad that they didn't do that, just because it's like,
yeah,
I'm good.
It's like, I don't need, or I do like fried beef, but not that fried.
Yeah.
kind of is a villain in towards the end of Event Horizon. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Vampire Chimp, we're doomed. Yeah, think of Planet of the Apes and this movie combined. That would make one hell of a horror concept. You know? So if they bite you, does that mean that you're going to turn into a chimp or a vampire chimp or what?
I have no idea.
This is them testing the blood substitute, and he starts getting really blistered. This guy, he's in the military. He's he's volunteering. And let's see if I can, let's go ahead, 30 seconds. Yeah, he's just like, so they put in, his head blows up. Yeah. After they get him stable again, he's like, ow, boom, his head freaking blows up. Great scene. But let's see here. I gotta do right here is where, see how he looks at the camera? And it's like, I can't believe I am in this movie. I mean,
It does look like that, but at the same time, I think he had fun with the role.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You get to play a vampire.
Yep. So then we learn that there are blood riots in London, and Ethan is getting pointy ears because, well, he's also starving himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he helps some humans. So let me see if I can get that one. Let's see here. I believe. Yep, he hit the humans. And there's his pointy ear.
Yeah.
And the cops come up. It's like, you okay, sir? We've been looking for a vehicle. We think there might be humans, sir. And so he actually helps the humans. And there was a deleted scene, I do believe, or an extended scene where they ask, why is your daylight driving thing on? Oh, it happened during the impact. It's short-circuiting, essentially. And
which is a plausible explanation since he just crashed, so...
Mm-hmm. Which is a nice thing. And then the head girl is looking for his, or looking at his ID. And he has a freaking thing in his arm right there, which is nice. Because they shot him with a crossbow. And there she is. Or there's Audrey. Let's see here. He turns that on. The daylight thing. Right there. Yep. There's Audrey, a couple of humans that she was saving. And she checks out his ID. So he's like, or we'll see you around. Somehow I doubt that. Happy birthday, Ed.
Yeah.
It's a nice little parting gesture. So we also learned that there are subwalks for daylight. And he's with his brother. So he's talking with his brother in the military, or who's in the military. And his brother brings him some human blood. And he doesn't drink human blood. He drinks pig's blood and whatnot. Now, this is the same actor who plays Seven in Iron Man 2 for y'all. I don't see him much in anything else or anything other. But he does a good job in this one as Frankie. So, let's see here. 22:30. And while they're arguing over blood or the blood issue and whatnot, well, one's about to leave, and let's see here. A subsider comes in because Frankie threw the bottle of human blood against the wall, and the subsider smelt the blood to come in, and he just starts licking the blood against the wall.
Yeah, because Eddie's Edward starts dumping it out because he's not going to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Which and with it being mostly empty, Frankie out of frustration throws it against the wall, and well, Carl comes in. We find out the creature's name was Carl.
Yeah. And then we get a Subsider who is pretty much almost full bat at this point. I mean, this is a great shot right here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, holy shit, man. This is how far they've mutated. And they do great effects here because this whole fight here, because they end up having to stay away from it and whatnot, but Frankie manages to slice it open and then remove its head.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a detective coming down who's very noir-like. I mean, this vampire is operating on pure instinct at this point, just wants to feed.
Yeah.
And it gets up into the ceiling, and then, well, yeah, head removed. And so you have a crime scene investigator with the fat-bellied, with the fat-bellied detective. And they learned, and you also learn that if you feed on yourself, you mutate faster.
Yeah.
So it speeds up the mutation. Well,
yeah, so not only was he feeding on other vampires because he was a subsider, he was feeding on himself.
Mm-hmm. When they start, or because they saw him 2 weeks ago when he was normal, where now it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Carl, you know this guy. All right, let's see if I can get to the next scene here, because during the day, yep, they need his help. Now, let's see here. God damn it. All right. So then he goes back to work and he meets with Bromley, and Bromley's like, or gives him coffee. He's not really a coffee drinker because, well, there's human blood in it. And he tells him, he's like, well, how much do you think they'll pay for your daughter? I love that line. He's like, how much do you think they'll pay for your daughter? And that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because, well, yeah, touchy subject, I guess.
Well, yeah, because right now, as far as we know, like the when I say the daughter's gone, I'm not saying she's dead. She's like she basically shunned her father as a monster when he became a vampire, and since she has basically disappeared. So she's still a human, and basically Edward threw that back in Bromley's face when Bromley talking about the human population, like, you know, how much you pay for your daughter.
Yeah, he does kind of remind me of Eckhart from '89 Batman.
Yeah.
That detective. So, Orange, Subsiders versus Reapers. If I ever brought back the Versus streams, because those were fun, they were also my highest viewed live streams. But I'm trying, folks. I'm thinking about it. It all depends on what's going on during the winter. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Subsiders versus Reapers from Blade 2. They both are essentially super feeders because they are always starving, essentially. They are essentially the same thing. What would you think, Mara? Subsider versus a Reaper from Blade 2. Definitely Reaper.
I'd say Reapers because while they are feral, I guess in a sense, for one better way of putting it, Subsiders are pretty much acting purely on instinct and need, and Reapers still have
a little bit of a
cognitive abilities to them. Yeah.
Not to mention they you can only kill a Reaper with sunlight or getting through a bone chest or a bone chassis.
So I think the Reapers would probably make easy work of Subsiders.
Oh yeah, definitely. But imagine a Reaper turning a Subsider. That would be fucking nuts. So we then get to the shot of meeting with Elvis or Lionel McCormick. So let's get to that. 33-30. Lionel McCormick. Willem Dafoe. Legend. And people call me Elvis. Elvis, yeah. And then he does a little bit of
My
Hunk of Burnin' Love.
Yeah, which is it's like funny but on the nose. I was like, oh my god.
Right? And then he just grabs his hand, puts it against his chest. Feel that? Hasn't been beaten in 8 years. That's impossible. So is walking around without a pulse. I love Willem Dafoe in this movie.
Yeah.
His acting is just great. And so also while she was in the last scene where I showed you where she was holding the crossbow on him, there's a bit where he's actually holding his arm like this, kind of rubbing his arm, because it's like, yeah, the last time I saw that, I got a fucking crossbow crossbolt in my freaking arm. So it's like, yeah, I'm remembering that pain, which is a nice touch. And also, Frankie may or may not have overheard the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really know until this scene where Frankie actually shows up in a daylight cover suit.
This is where I don't want to say a problem, but more or less like this is where I think like the script, like there was I don't know if there was a scene cut out or extended part of a scene cut or something like that, because I'm like, yeah, I could imagine Frankie would have heard the conversation, but unless he would have seen the notes,
yeah,
how do you know where to go? Like he would have had to wait, like he would have had to know the time,
yeah,
and where Edward was going.
Well, chances are he followed him from the office.
But she would have seen a car coming.
Yes, she would have.
So unless like he stopped like miles back and she didn't see and he snuck up that way.
That is, well, they can move pretty quickly, as we saw that Subsider take a swing at the couple.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, that's where it's like there's like a little bit of a leap of logic in the script.
And so they have to escape the vampire army that's coming in because Frankie showed up. Also, there is a slight inconsistency in this because, let's see here. Yeah, he's holding his chest. So he's walking around without a pulse. And yeah, there's Frankie. And I love how the crossbow things just shoot outward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, they could put you away for a very long time. And it's like, dude, you are not helping anything. So they knock him out. And it's like, I would have taken his fucking helmet too. And you got these guys, and they shoot up Elvis's car. And he's like, motherfuckers, I really like that car.
I was like, I would too. Like, I was in the same boat as Elvis. Like, you motherfuckers, that was a nice car.
And let's see here. So we then learn about his tale from being cured. And he used to do daylight mods for the car, which, let's see here.
He's like he said his shop was like the first to start
the daylight
modifications to vehicles that would allow people to drive, or the vampires to drive in the daylight, should they wish.
Buffering. My garage was the first in town to do daylight. Also, if you notice, his skin is burnt on his left side.
Yeah.
Around his neck and face and whatnot. Had a shop right near your place, and it can give you one hell of a sunburn. He's going 140 miles an hour, and he starts hallucinating because of the blood deprivation at the time, because this shows that a year before, blood deprivation was starting to occur. So, yeah, before it messes with your head. And he's thinking sunlight's getting in there. And, well, he busts through the window, gets cooked up in the sun, but the water saves him. So, coming in, Yeah. It's like, oh shit, he just noticed. Oh, okay, I'm human again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they need his help, or Ed's help. It's because, well, he's human. And they want to know if they can reproduce the effects. So Bromley is now looking for his daughter, and Frankie meets with Bromley because, well, he turned in his brother, and he's asking him, I just want your brother back so he can continue his work, and if he returns immediately, no files or no charges will be filed and whatnot. Well, yeah, doesn't exactly go well because, well, the two brothers are not really on speaking terms, shall we, or after what just happened. So let's see if I can get to the next shot, because the next scene where they're talking about, or where she's talking about finding other survivors, I like how Ethan's staring at her neck constantly, and then when she looks back at him, he turns away, but she catches it immediately. It's like, stop the car. And then, so she actually cuts her own hand open, puts some blood in the cup.
She also notices his ear because he turned.
Yeah.
And she's like, stop the car. Because I'm pretty sure that they would have, like, even although they're humans, they would have gotten essentially wind of the subsiders and the effects. So it's like, you haven't been eating.
Yeah. So they're talking here. Let's see here. Yeah, he keeps looking down at her neck, turning away. Yep, because her eyes actually did shift to his ears.
Yeah.
You actually see it right there.
You see that.
And he doesn't want to drink any human blood, and I love that. She ain't asking, Doc.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so he has to, yeah. And I love the next scene because they go into the winery, and it's like, is this place safe? Being human in a world full of vampires is like bareback, or is about as safe as bareback in a $5 whore.
I love that line.
Right?
I love that line.
I would have used that line for the thumbnail, except it was too damn long.
Yeah.
And so we see Senator Turner, who people may know from Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. He played Captain Typho, head of Padme's security. And that's the only other movie I know him from. Otherwise, I would have named a different one because, well, yeah, Star Wars is kind of a thing of the past for many of us. More humans. I'm the one shitting my pants. Usually when the vampire's around, I'm the one shitting my pants.
Yes.
Getting into there. Let's see here. See that there's a... yeah, being human in a world full of vampires is about as safe as bareback in a $5 whore. Yeah, I can't play it with the audio, folks. Yeah. I have the tab specifically, even with it muted, as you guys can clearly see on the screen. I also turned off the audio share because that way I can keep it from playing audio by accident. So let's get to the Senator. Let's see here. 4650. Well, yikes. Can't exactly show that because, well, there was boobs. But yes, there's the senator. And he's actually, there's a movement even in Washington, D.C., where they're actually want a cure too. There's a possibility for a cure. Some people are willing to use the cure, you know? Again, fair use, YouTube. Yes, exactly. However, there are some things I can't show you, folks, because, well, yes, Bromley's looking at the dwindling blood supply. So that would be 54. But yes, you can see that there's dwindling humans, and it's not going good. You see another body being hauled out because it's it was an old man who died. And let's see here, 6:45:54. Or was it 46:54? That was a moment. And then we also learned that the subsiders are growing even more because we're about to get to the blood price, or the prices of blood are going up. Let's see here, 47.18. So people are feeling the effects right here. We see more subsiders in the sewers. It's just a growing epidemic. We see the people are starting to, or the blood prices are soaring. People are starting to feel the effects. And this guy wants more blood in his coffee. However, it's been reduced to a 5% blood quotient per cup. FDA approved. But, well, I love the scene because it's like, yeah, they have a blood riot. No, wait, we got a 48:02, and it's like, put some more fucking blood in my coffee. Well, I can't. And so, well, yeah, they kind of have a problem here. He pulls the blood bag and it gets all over everybody, and I love this.
Yeah, I know.
Now, let's see if I can get this on the right spot. Because the blood riot causes everybody to go nuts. And even when they all come in here, it's like, you see them even feeding on the blood too, going nuts after they get the shutters down.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, even they are starving, but they're at least, well, subtle about it.
Well, he's not noticed.
Yeah. And then it's just more blood riots going on. So, let's see here. Elvis and Ed are examining the blood, and some people some of the other humans are going out because they found a group of 15 humans. And I love when he starts talking to Audrey, he's like, "Are you afraid to die?" And she's like, "Yeah, just that," or I think everybody is, because we don't really see vampirism as an option, so we also don't see death as an option.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Soul Rip Hot Rangers, yeah. Cocaine, a hell of a drug, right? Yeah.
Yep.
They attack the hot waitress, yeah. Blood prices going, right? Bidenomics.
Literally, like, it's like this movie's like scarily prescient.
Right? So they implement we also learned that Ed's brother is the one who turned him, but we never learned why until later.
Mm-hmm.
So the daylight burn plan, because, well, there was an there's an ambush at the human group that's coming in. And, well, if you stake a vampire in this movie, folks, they blow up in a hail of fire, which is kind of interesting. That's actually pretty, because in all other vampire movies, I've never seen them blow up in a hail of fire, you know? Where in, like, Blade, the first one, they just ash out. The second one, they added burning effect, but not as violently as these ones.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I mean, typically, if this were like normal vampire lore, typically when you stake a vampire, that vampire will age to whatever they would be, so that they would kind of look how they should look. So if they're thousands of years old, well, then they'll basically just die essentially, but age up to the point where it's like whatever they would look like if they'd been dead for that however many thousands of years.
All right.
In this instance, yeah, it's like they're attacking the caravan and hitting them with these darts.
Boom. Yeah. Blind shot manages to stake a vamp at night. And, well, there's a lot of them out there, folks. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And there's the daughter of Bromley, Isabella Lucas. And she manages to kill one. Nice lucky shot, you know. Wooden stake apparently kills him no matter what. So, yeah, might be the favorite vampire death. I mean, it really is nice. This movie is 2023, basically. Yeah, without the vampirism.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So 5906 is the next time slot. They are doing the they're doing the burning, the daylight burn. 59. So they use a fermentation tank, and I love this. We're gonna be here for a while. So she just takes off the top shirt, soaking him in a wet blanket. So when he gets the sun is on their way, boom. It's just like immediately. As soon as the sun hits him, he starts burning. Now, that's not the case for his brother, who got a little bit of sunlight in the face, but he didn't start burning, you know? It's a slight inconsistency here.
Mm-hmm.
So then they suck out the air from the top of the tank and then add it in. Turns out he is all better in, let's see here. I do want to play this part here just a little bit because, well, they're arriving. Are they going to catch him? This shot here is the shot that I want to show, which is actually, yep, where his eyes go from gold to blue, which is like, okay, it worked. And his ears are no longer pointy. And I love the line before they started. It's because everybody else had to leave, including the senator. And it's like, this is the only chance we have of doing this test. I got to do it.
Yeah.
And so he's like, or I love what Elvis says, fuck it. I do enjoy a good barbecue. Or I do like a good barbecue. If I made a vampire story, when they get staked, their head would launch off like a rocket and the body would turn to ash. That's an interesting take, sure. Hey, and Albert Not a Retro, thank you so much for the $2 Canadian super chat. Hey, hello, hey Mara, what's happening? Where's Steph?
Well, this is a single stream that I do with Orange Chat, so this is not like any normal stream I would do with my nerdy home.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of Steph, I don't know if Talk Nerdy will be on her channel or my channel this weekend since we didn't do it last weekend. So,
yeah. I mean, if my nerdy actually wants to come on and discuss a single, that'd be great too. But that's all up to her, man.
Yeah.
I've reached out to lots of people, haven't heard back. But so they end up escaping from from the military. It shows that the military is here, but they don't find them in the fermentation tank, which they're actually hiding in a different tank right there. So also when they captured Bromley, he talks with his daughter, and his daughter stabs him with a letter opener. And ends up getting, because this is that scene there. And also Frankie got shot in the shoulder. So he actually asks Frankie to do him a favor. Can you turn my daughter? And I'm thinking to myself, you POS, dude. You are seriously that cowardly. So then we get to, let's see here, 103:41. which is an actual, there you go. He's in the sunlight, his first time in the sun without burning. So it's a nice little thing. And essentially, she's like, welcome back, hand holding. It's like, yeah, you just wanted him cured so you could have a boyfriend.
I mean, can you blame her? It's Ethan Hawke.
Right? A lot of people don't know this, but Ethan Hawke was also in the Total Recall reboot. He was actually the real face of Colin Farrell when they did plastic surgery on him to make him look different. It's the unrated edition or the extended edition, the director's cut, which shows him as the original whatchamacallit guy. So let's see here. The Trans Am 14017 or 10417. Yep. From the ashes brings new life.
Yeah.
Another daylight simmed car. I love the Trans Am, man. And then we see Bromley looking out at an empty blood supply because, well, yeah, the investors pulled their humans from the blood supply because they were afraid they wouldn't be able to find it. I didn't hate that. Yeah, I find it somewhat intriguing as a more modernized reboot. However, I still like the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hey, fuck Norris, good to see you. Always a pleasure, buddy.
Yep.
Ethan Hunk.
I'm just saying, it's Ethan Hawke, so it's like,
yeah,
I don't blame her.
Well, he is a handsome man.
Yep.
So then we, or after he sees the place empty, he goes to check on his daughter, where she won't eat her blood ration, and instead, she feeds on herself.
Yeah.
And, well, she starts going feral even before she starts looking feral. But she's like, is this what you wanted? Which, it really is tragic. I mean, then she also starts assaulting him, trying to get him to drink a little bit of blood so she can turn her and whatnot. So, at this point, there is known as the Subsider epidemic. And they, even the populace is like, these things, they gotta go. It's like, dude, you could turn into one of those things if you don't have or if you don't feed long or in a due time, you know?
Yeah.
So, let's see here. 108 or 10908. Oh, also Team Ed travels to the cabin where the senator's hiding. They find the place is massacred and the senator's beheaded. So it's like all of them, or you see a bunch of humans drained of blood or slit open. It's like the army they didn't capture, they just strictly fed.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you were supposed to capture.
So, but it makes sense. Like, it makes sense because you have that.
They're starving.
It's literally starvation. So it's like, at that point, your basic needs are going to supersede your orders.
Exactly.
At that point.
Oh, this is a nice shot too. I think they show that Subsiders are seeing that the helicopters are coming in.
Yeah.
Because it's now been decided to have military action, and they're going after the Subsiders. Come on. Pause. Thank you. And they round them up. I love this scene here because it's like, they're not there, but, oh, wait, yes, they are. Whoosh. This means that basically any Subsiders down there are just purely bat formed at this time. So 10908 is where they round them up, and it's like, these things, they gotta go. 10908. See if I can get it as close as possible. Yep, they're leading him out in chains, and there's Allie, Bromley's son, or daughter, rather. Oops. And she's going after the guy who turned her. So she still remembers him to a degree, but she's also mutated to the point where her frontal lobe is just fully deteriorated.
Yeah.
So they let him out into the sun. You see some people, they look like they've been burned a little bit. And, yep, population control, people. And they realize, oh my God, this is what's going to happen to us if we turn into this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It really is sad. And then this is a brilliant shot right here. Just continued burning. And he looks back and he sees his military buddies all celebrating. Yeah, die, yada, yada. It's like, you guys are real freaking assholes. It's like, don't you realize that this is where he actually starts realizing maybe my brother is right. Maybe my brother is right.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ed's lab partner, Christopher, he actually solves it. He actually solved it. Or solved the blood substitute problem. And he comes home and he finds that Ed and the group are there. And he's like, you're really human. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks more hunky for the women. Less pale. I mean, you can compare skin tones right here. But it turns out it's all a freaking ruse. But I do like what Willem Dafoe says. This is one fucking ugly house.
I know, I love that.
And they're like, whoa, hold it. And who are you? I'm sorry, Who are you? We're the folks with the crossbows.
You know, yes. I love that.
Yeah, it really is great. Having a pulse is good for the complexion. Yeah, exactly. The starvation was that bad. Yep. It became so bad that they had to round up people or the subsiders to get out of here, you stupid bug. To basically start slaughtering them. Hey, Kate, how you doing? Good to see you. Nerd with a cigar. She's one of the Hat Crew folks. She'll be hopefully with us to discuss Endgame this Sunday night. So then he takes a phone call, and he also was on the phone when he got there, and he's like, I'll have to call you back. And so he puts his phone in his pocket, but he realizes it was with the office, and he never hung it up.
Yeah. So,
yeah, the people were listening, and they sent the military there. All right, you will be there? Okay, good. Okay. And this thing just went out again. There we go. But, yeah, this is one fucking ugly house. And Audrey gets tranked when she goes looking for him because it's like he hasn't come back yet. Kind of been a while. And they escape to Elvis's old shop. And they find a subsider there, which is freaking hilarious. And so let's see if I can get there. Get rid of that. Ex-wife, it's messy, so he takes a call. She gets tranked. The men in the trank. Yep, she got tranked there. So it's like, oh shit, gotta go. And let's see here. There. Turning on the lights. Oh shit, there's a subsider there. Female, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
And boom. Well, look who's also there. Frankie. Now, Frankie fucked up because, well, he turned Bromley's daughter, and, they kind of demoted him for it because, well, the daughter kind of wouldn't feed except for on herself. So you could see that he's starting to starve now because, well, he hasn't had any human blood in a while. I don't believe it. You're human. I fucked up, Ed. And he tells him, you know why I turned you, Ed? It wasn't for some selfish need of blood. It was because if I didn't, they would have killed you.
Mm-hmm.
So Eddie just went for it. He just he wanted to save his brother because he couldn't live without his brother, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
to Edward, like you find out Edward did not voluntarily turn. He did not voluntarily assimilate. So it's almost essentially against his will, even though it was his brother who did it.
Yep. And he actually convinces Frankie to join him. Let's skip all this.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to a point here where, let's see here. Yeah, he's looking at him and he just, well, he's also starving, so he bites Elvis.
Yeah.
Except that there's something interesting going on, which we could see there's something weird going on. So instead of killing his brother, he just goes full bore into the lab like, yeah, man. You can also tell that those guys had red eyes, so they're starting to starve. And we learn that, well, she's been tied up. I guess they want to get kinky with her.
Mm-hmm.
Or just, you know, feeding.
Or like he's like they had Bromley pretty much drinking her blood.
Yep. I mean, he's unabashedly villainous right now. Edward, you got a tan. It suits you. And he's smelling her blood. Has a scent. Fear. And they find out, well, the blood substitute is there. Now let's see. And Ed is basically like, I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to die. I made a mistake turning human. But he's like, well, you want to be a human, there's your thing.
Yeah.
And so he baits. I love how he baits it. He's like, is that what you said when you turned your daughter? Oh, wait, you didn't. You asked my brother to do it. So who's the fucking coward?
Yeah.
So let's see here. 121. 53 is, well, yeah, 53, 57. So it's like, all right, asshole. Fine. Rip. It's like, stop giving me a hickey, Sam. I'm not like that.
Yeah.
Okay, this thing actually went backward when I hit forward. That's weird. Oh, yeah, it's all fun and games when you finally fade. Oh, yeah. Until you find out, oh, shit. The blood, what have you done to me? Well, vampires think they own this world, but that ain't true. Daylight comes out, or every day the sun comes out and they hide.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. Yep. It's a great scene here where they're cutting back and forth between it, and they show that, oh, yeah, Frankie's human now. And now so is Sam Neill. And let's see if I can get that, because I won't show the quote, but I can recite the quote because I do believe I wrote it down. Elvis Presley once said, "The truth is like the sun. You can shut it out for a time, but it ain't going away." It's a great line. And kind of fitting for this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so far they haven't pulled the stream that I'm aware of. Because I'm pretty sure the chat would let me know. Now, they have to escape, so they set Bromley up in the elevator, which is so freaking funny. Let's see if I can get... Right. Let's see here. Yeah, they got some going up, and yeah, it's like, oh shit. Because all you need to do is just take one look at a lot of these people. And as you said, Mara, the need to feed overwrites orders and logic. They rip him apart.
Yes.
And they even... I couldn't pause, stupid thing. And so there's a shot where they rip off his head, and his eye actually blinks, which is a nice touch. It's like, well, yeah. So all the people in that elevator are basically going to be cured.
Yes.
And then they're going to get fed on by the other soldiers that are outside of the elevator. Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically it's like one of those serendipitous discoveries that they don't need to replicate the experiment because once a vampire feeds on cured blood, they themselves have basically taken it as almost like the cure
like
itself, like a vaccine of sorts, and it's now they are back to being human.
Yep. Ah, damn it. Tell my friend not to call me at night or at 1:30 on Tuesdays. It's like, dude, I am freaking live. But anyway, alrighty. So let's see here. 131. No, wait. Alrighty. Let's see if I can find the next shot. So they're trying to escape. And we get his brother making a sacrifice because everybody's showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Or other people are showing up. So his brother is basically dead at this point.
Yeah.
Boom! I love that shot. That was a great shot, too. Now, let's see if I can get there. Yep. Oh, crap. Everybody's waking up, and there's more hungry people. So, they all get frickin' slaughtered.
Yeah, they did not skip on blood in this scene because it's one wave after another.
Yep. See if I can, because it's just a bloodbath, folks.
Yeah.
Right there basically shows it all. It's a frickin' bloodbath. While those two are outside or in that door or behind the door just watching everything. And now there's only like 3 people alive. Or 4 or 5 people alive.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't last long because there's an asshole in the group. And his name is Christopher. And he's like, there can't be a cure.
This is the thing I never got. It's like,
yeah,
if they let at least a chunk of the vampires be cured, guess what increases?
Yeah, your blood supply.
Blood supply. So it's like,
except it's a tainted blood supply.
At the same time, it's like I'd rather that. And going back to needing normal food at that point, because you have to imagine, it'd be easier to go back to that than figuring out a blood substitute at that point.
Yep. Now, we also have Chris here. He just got staked, and it takes him a while to blow up. It's like there is so many inconsistencies when it comes to killing vamps in this movie. First off, you get Frankie, who is kind of tolerant to sunlight a little bit, just a little, where everybody else will just, second sun hits them, flames. You stab anybody else in the heart with a stake, and boom, they're dead. You stab him or you stab Chris in the heart, it takes him like 5 seconds to die. So yeah, they did it for dramatic effect. I get it, but it's still an objective inconsistency. And we are basically at the end of the movie because Elvis saves their asses and the sun starts coming out.
Yeah.
And there's one shot that I want to get to, or see. Let's see here, 1:30. 131.08. Well, we'll go to 131.01. How about that? And we'll just right here. Great shot with the Trans Am riding off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And they figured that this would be the perfect part to end the movie. However, they had just enough money for one more shot, which was this shot here. Boom. The one last jump scare with the bat. Which, honestly, when I first saw this movie, that actually did get me to jump.
I did like that. I did like that.
So that is the end of Daybreakers, folks. Now, some fun facts here. One, they went over budget on this film, and the bank actually shut down the production until the brothers or the Spirit brothers are like, okay, they won't give us any more money because, well, we went over budget. We're going to use our own money to finish this film. Unfortunately, the film bombed. So, yeah.
Which is unfortunate because, like, you know, because again, like, it's not exactly a great film, but it's one of those ones where it's like I appreciated it, and I don't. Yeah. I feel like I'm like, you know, overusing that word, but at the same time, it's like it's a spin on vampirism. It's basically taking, like, have you ever read I Am Legend?
Yes. Well, no, I've seen the movie, but
or I Am Legend, or one of the movie versions, like based on the book I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. You have Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price, Omega Man with Charlton Heston, and then you have the one that's like literally the title, based, like, you know, I Am with Will Smith, where it treats vampirism like a disease, and that's pretty much what this movie does. It treats it like a disease. It's not normal vampire lore. It's like they're not like Count Dracula or anything like that. They're not like, you know, it's like they're not. It's not, you know, creating a coven of vampires or anything. It's just. It's kind of like you're playing on fears of death, and like that's like one of the, I think, the strongest motivators that people had when they initially chose to become vampires, is because, well, what's one thing that people think about when they think, if I become a vampire, I can't die. I'm weak to certain things, but I live forever.
Yeah. And so how would you rate this movie out of 10?
Objectively, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, there are some story elements that I'm like, if they had tweaked it a little bit, it would have been better, because it's more or less like it had the audience kind of like make leaps of logic, and it's like inserting like, you know, plausibility in scenes where it's like, you know, like they could have, like, with one or two short scenes, like maybe like more, like, you know, like say, like, for example, like how Frankie's able to find Ed, pretty much. You have a quick shot of like him, like Ed accidentally leaving the note somewhere, or like, you know, thinking that he like destroyed it enough, but like Frankie found it, like, you know, a quick shot like that, which shows the viewer this is how Frankie's able to figure out and get there. Like maybe he was like lying in wait, for all we know, pretty much, but like at least show something a little bit, so audiences don't have to like make that leap. However, as basically subjectively, I pretty much give it a 9 out of 10, because it's one of those like movies where it's yes, it's vampirism, but at the same time, it's like themes that resonate in our real world, like food shortages, crises, epidemics of sorts, and so forth. So it's like basically taking those real things, but putting them into a movie where it's like, okay, we're like, you know, it's like the epidemic is vampirism. Yeah. Like non-normal disease. So that I kind of appreciated. So I'd say those are the scores I would give it, pretty much. Like 7 out of 10 objectively. It's not a great movie, but it's enjoyable. Like I could put it on and watch it again. I might not sit down to watch it, but I can follow it. I enjoy it. 9 out of 10 subjectively, with the risk they took in that storytelling. So yeah, those are my scores.
Alrighty. As for me, objectively, it is a 7 out of 10. And because inconsistency. She basically hit the nail on the head. There are story writing problems, inconsistencies with Death and Sunlight, and some things go a little bit less explained. Where this movie does are also the digital effects, where the burning in the sunlight were very much dated to 11 years ago now. Lionsgate is a smaller studio compared to other studios. However, they do better movies than most studios nowadays because honestly, Disney sucks.
Yeah,
And
Disney sucks. Warner Brothers sucks.
Warner Brothers is not that good either.
Sony's asshole.
Yeah. Sony, they're hit and miss. However, they're mostly miss right now. Yeah. Where you have Lionsgate is actually pumping out some pretty good movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're such a they're a smaller studio and they're not making as much money. I do believe the John Wick movies are also Lionsgate. I think. Yeah, let me check. I do believe that is John Wick from Lionsgate. Lionsgate confirms John Wick. Oh, jeez. No, they didn't have to do that. John Wick 5 is already in early development. But hey, Lionsgate confirms it, so yes, the John Wick movies are in Lionsgate. John Wick movies, great movies. They don't need a fifth. I'm still in that camp. They don't need a fifth. You're now making John Wick superhuman, and it's not needed. But anyway.
I won't necessarily say he's superhuman, but at the same time, it's like I could see them.
Dude's too stubborn to die.
The plausibility that his death was faked. That he's not buried there.
Yeah.
And if the high table thinks he's dead, then they're not going to suspect. They're not going to pay attention to until it's too late. Like he's taking them out. I have a feeling that's where the fifth one is going. Is that he's going to go after the high table.
Yeah, but it's like, why would you go after them if you've already won your freaking freedom?
I know it's one of those it's like one of those where it's like, yeah, I've won my freedom, but at the same time, it's like they can't be. It's one of those. It's one of those
can't get away with what they're doing.
They can't get away with the shit they're doing.
Yeah.
As long as it's the last one, like the fourth one, arguably should have been the last one, but as long as the fifth one's the last one, I'm like just
freaking end it at 5, folks, because otherwise it's not.
No, it's at that point he needs to become like Michael Myers. Like at that point, I love John Wick, but at the same time, it's like make this the last one and have him go after the high table.
Yeah,
which
subjectively, subjectively for Daybreakers, definitely a 9 to a 9.5. I enjoy this movie. It really is a fun movie to watch. Gives you a nice little couple jump scares here and there, but it really also has a good story to it. With the problems though. Moviegoer, where it's based on entertainment value alone, this movie is 10 out of 10. It keeps me in my seat. I have fun watching it. It's a nice little serious horror, slight action. It's a good movie. It's one that does the job.
Yeah.
So that is going to be singles for tonight. Thank you so much to everybody in the chat. Trey Courtney, Gravy D, Sporking, Soul Assassin, Vanya, Kate, Fuck Norris, many others. I mean, there were so many, a lot of people in the chat. Albert Notaretra, thank you so much for the super chat. Gravy D, thank you also for the super chat. Who else? Sporking News, I think I already said him. Thank you, Sporking, for coming in. Trey Courtney, I do believe I said him as well. Vanya. And, yep, that is everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for Sunday for the last of the MCU Sundays. And Tuesday will be the last of the Tuesday theme streams of September, which is Son of Batman. And next month, we'll be back with singles with Bram Stoker's Dracula. I'm going to have to search hard for a quote in that one to put on the thumbnail. And Silver Bullet. I think I know the perfect quote for that one. Holy jumped up, ball-headed Jesus Palomino.
Yeah, I know.
Perfect one. I mean, it's going to be a longer one. But
it was like perfect casting.
Yeah. And so, Mara, let everybody know where you're going to be and where to find you.
All right. Well, tomorrow, if my plans basically hold up, what's going to happen is I'll be on my live channel, Jade Shadow Live, where I hang out with the chat for a short solo stream, going through some pop culture topics, and giving my input on them, because my plan is to see Expendables 4 tomorrow afternoon, rather than do a gaming stream in the afternoon, and then jumping on to Mortal Kombat 1 in the evening, playing through more of the campaign, and then if I'm able to see the movie, give my thoughts on Expendables 4. I have to talk to My Nerdy Home, because I have no idea if Talk Nerdy to Us will be either on her channel, since it wasn't on her channel last weekend because we didn't do it, or my channel this weekend, so I have to make sure of that, or even if we're going to have it Saturday, because my one brother's inviting us to go hang out at his place, but we might not do so because not all of us are free this weekend, so I don't know, but we'll see. But anyway, Talk Nerdy, if it happens at the normal time, will be at 9 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, roughly. Don't know which channel. I can't say for sure just yet. So.
All right. Oh, Soul Assassin, good question here. Do you think if the film came out at a different time, it would have been better for this film? Honestly, if it would have came out during this time, it would have definitely been better, and it would have been such more relevance.
Yeah. Because it's like one of those where it's like, it came, like, you know, it's like made in 2008, I think came out 2009 time frame, 10 years later, so it'd be like 2019 roughly, and it's like one of those, when it comes out, it's like no way that shit's going to happen. Meanwhile, 10 years later, yeah, that shit's happening.
It fucking happens. Yeah, right? So, yeah, definitely. Perfect timing for the film to be a 10 years later kind of thing, because, well, 2019 was when the epidemic started, or the pandemic started, rather. And, yeah. But anyway, we're not going to mention that too much because I don't want my freaking stream to be suppressed. And also, thank you to, again, I don't own the rights to this. And Lionsgate, if you do see this, please do not freaking limit at this. I'm not making any money off of this except for super chats. And they're few and far between. And folks, don't let that make you think that I want more super chats. It's only if you want to. I am not saying, or if you want to support the channel, support the channel. Do not feel obligated. But yes, fair use. I do this to promote film. I am not doing, or I don't do these to shit on films. This is for a more positive movie experience, movies that we enjoy, and where we are basically just want to watch a movie that we enjoy, talk about it, and maybe give a little bit of promotion to those who do enjoy or who did put out these movies. We are doing this under fair use and giving you guys props. We are also being objective, yes, but we are letting you know this is what we love about your movies. So please do not freaking Lionsgate.
Yeah.
Don't freaking go after this video. It's a great stream of positivity, you know. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. If you catch us on the replay, leave a comment in the comment section. What did you like about Daybreakers? Did you like it? Did you not? Thoughts and whatnot. Thank you so much to everybody who did super stickers, super chats. Y'all have a wonderful night. Let me get over here. And always remember, folks, to stay humble.
Peace.
Are you done? Are you done?